Greetings, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to the channel. Today I have a special video for you. So, as you can see here, as I move out of the way, here are my lovely partners for the next, we're going to say the next couple days, next week or so, because there is power in belief of your healing and believing for that healing. But as you can see, I have had a severe ankle injury. And I have a passion for skateboarding. And not just skating down the street, but extreme tricks, big stair
Yes,
steps,
dude.
pushing myself to the limit. And I'm going to put it on screen for you guys. I was trying a backside 180 down an 8 stair. And clearly one of the attempts didn't go so well. I landed right on my foot, heard a snapping sound, and instantly knew that I was in trouble. And ankle injuries are nothing new for me. A couple years ago, about 2 years ago, I broke my left ankle. And now I have a severe sprain. They didn't say it's quite a fracture. Now there's further imagery that they need to analyze and discuss with me. But thus far, they haven't claimed any broken bone in my ankle. And I had prayer right afterwards. So, glory to God for that. But I'm no stranger to this. I landed on it. It went numb. And I just started hopping away. And the guy who was filming me, God bless his heart, he's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" The other guy was like, "Are you okay? Do you need water?" I was like, "I just need a minute. I just need a minute." Probably sounded rude. For you guys who are like me and can relate, it makes sense. When you have that level of pain in your body, you just want to go like this. Like you want to be in your own dark corner going like this. Just trying to focus. Like so much is going on. It just hurts so bad and you don't know what to do. You're just crying out. I'm like, ugh. Like I was like wincing in pain and like on the ground. I always go out to grass when something like that happens and lay down. But I was unable to walk, and I was driving home with my left foot instead of my right. And God bless those guys. They got me with ice. I talked for a little bit and then I hopped on out of there. And I called Kirsten, my fiance. We're getting married the 20th. So, most perfect timing ever, right? And she was like, "Oh, like, are you okay? Are you okay?" And a little frustrating that it happens right before we get married. But I'm going to be running down that aisle. I'm going to walk because of the ceremony. But I will be able to run if I would like to. But, in God's timing. And I'm not going to force it to be a certain timing that I expect. I would like to healing. And I'm going to be healed enough to where I'll be able to walk. I won't need to be on crutches. It won't be painful. But in God's timing. But yeah, a little frustrating that happens at this time. And, looking on the outside, looking at the situation black and white for what it is, and not taking into account the perspective of God and the perspective of the Spirit and from His purpose, it seems like, a really bummer thing to do because the summer's just starting. I'm in active work where I need to be on my feet. Not even just on my feet. I need to be on my feet 10 hours, constantly moving, installing solar panels, which is what I currently do now. And it just seems like on the outside, it might be just a total, complete bummer. And the worst thing to ever happen. And you would think one would be down and depressed and worried, but I feel the complete opposite right now. Like, I feel honored to have this injury. I feel blessed. I feel chosen to have this injury. It is divine calling and divine movement by God. And I've recognized this before. Like, I have a writing in this notebook. This notebook is years old. It's from my old marketing research class back in my senior year of college, 2023. And I have a piece of writing in here. I don't know if you guys can read this. right there. It says, does skateboarding really generate the impact that I desire? The desire of my heart, which comes from God. Does it really achieve the desire, the impact, or does it achieve the impact that I desire? And it's worth thinking about, because skateboarding, I love it. It's beautiful, it's phenomenal, it's exercise, it's art, it's amazing. It's amazing. But does investing so much energy in that and trying to better yourself in that have the impact of love, have the impact of other passions that I have, such as this channel, preaching, loving on others, conversation? I love people. I love interacting with people, which you can do skateboarding. Some of my best friends I've ever met, I met skateboarding. So that's part of that. But when you have a unique calling on your life, God will sometimes use situations to draw you closer to him. Daniel in the lion's den, he was drawn closer. You know, God's chosen people in the wilderness, they were drawn closer. They had to follow him. They had the enemies behind them. You know, they had the Egyptians behind them following them. They needed God to work, because where were they going? They were going straight for the Red Sea. They would drown if the sea wasn't part. They would be captured. They needed to rely on God. They had their back against the corner. When you have your back against the corner, God puts you in a place where you have no choice but to rely on him. And I love skateboarding. I love physical activity. I need to work for money, but I trust in God for my finances. I trust in God to provide for my finances what he has called me to do, the gifts that he has uniquely given me. And I feel uniquely gifted and called to certain things, such as music, such as preaching, such as being a creative, earning based on what he has created me to be, not trying to fulfill the shoes of an employer, of an employee for a company in order to receive a check, something that doesn't necessarily align with me. That's kind of how I was feeling. And I can be blessed, I can be humble, and I can work those jobs, and I can be blessed in doing that and recognize the blessing. But at a certain point, you don't want to limit yourself. You don't want to stop there. You realize that life is better than that. You are called to a greater purpose than that. So if you look at Romans chapter 8, verse 28, we can read it together now. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose. For those who are called according to his purpose, all things work out for good. All things. It's for his purpose that this happened. It's just for his purpose that I injured my ankle and I could not be at work, and I could have this time to spend time with God, to spend time with my fiance, to spend time in reflection, to spend time in prayer, to spend time on things that I wouldn't have before, because my job is very time consuming. 9-hour shifts a day, and it was 10-hour shifts a day, and I was working 5 days a week, sometimes 6. But finances are uncertain, and we have a lot of expenses coming up with this wedding. It's leading me to rely on him even more. It's leading me to raise my hands and surrender, because I can't do it on my own. When you're in a place where you can no longer do it on your own, when you're in a place where you can't do it at all, that's when God moves. God moves when you surrender. What does Jesus say? And I'll repeat, you might be new to my channel, I'll repeat the same core topics to drive them home so we know them. You know, like Pastor says at my church, I sound like a broken record at the time, but you can't hear the truth enough in a world full of lies, because the truth sure sounds sweet in a world full of lies, but the truth can also sound odd and peculiar in a world full of lies. So it's okay for it to convict you. It's okay for it to bring forth some sense to where you need to get on your knees and pray, where you need to get on your knees and ask God, like, what can I do, Lord? I just want to serve you. There's power in that. There's power in asking God to move on my behalf. Move on my behalf. I just want to serve you. And then you injure your ankle and you can't work, and then you're in a place where you have more time. You don't have the money, but you have the time to invest. I have time to invest in this channel. And I had just before that, y'all saw, you can check on the channel this week, a couple videos ago, I had just made the decision to move from the channel I was in before, which is the Glowing Globe, which is me and my fiance's channel, to move into focus on this brand. There's still the Glowing Globe, which is me and her and guest on there, but I shifted my focus, and God shifted my energy too, because you know how tempting it would be to have, say, when I went to skate, I had a Sunday afternoon. I go to church in the morning and I go to church in the evening. I had this block of time, and I thought, it's a lovely day. I'd like to go skateboarding. I wouldn't just like to go skateboarding. I want to go skateboarding somewhere where I usually can't, because, you know, the heavy work days, I don't want to travel far to skate. But one of my favorite parks is about 45 minutes to an hour away, depending on traffic. I decided to go there and skate. And I met some phenomenal people, made some phenomenal connections, and I love doing that. And I was there for a purpose, and I was there for a reason. But I was playing with the fact that I wanted to back 180 down the 8 stair. That I wanted to hit the 8 stair. And I hadn't hit the 8 stair in a long time. And someone there said it'd be sick if you did a 180 down it. I said, well, I've done a front 180. I haven't done a back 180 down it. So it was in the cards for this to take place. And it was my own fault that it happened. And you learn. But it's God's will at the end of the day. You can't beat yourself up over something like that. So I went and I tried it about 10, 15 times. And that happened. And instead of spending all that time and that energy just learning tricks, and of course I meet people and the connections, but maybe God wants me to do something else. Because you only get one shot in life. You don't get a do-over. You only get one shot in a day. You don't get a do-over. If you spend your whole afternoon skating and you didn't spend it studying, maybe you're called to be a scholar, maybe you're called to be a preacher, and you need to be studied up. You need to spend every single moment chasing this. Not chasing it, but sharpening your skills in this. Maybe I should have been making more videos, sharpening my preaching skills, sharpening my speaking skills, because that is what God has called me to be. Or maybe I should have been playing my guitar or writing. Whatever it might have been, skating wasn't in the cards. And I kind of had that feeling at lunch with my parents after church. I was like, I don't know if skating's the right call. I told them that because I'm very much aware that every single decision matters. Like, it's not like this. It's not like, oh, well, either way, and it doesn't matter. No, it really, really matters, because that's your energy, that's your life. That's a day you can't get back. And life isn't the big events, the big miraculous events. Those are beautiful. Those are great. But life consists of the small, incremental patterns, the small, incremental habits. So if you keep having bad habits, that's not gonna be good on your long-term life. But if you have good habits that add up, reading the Bible every day, even if it's a page, writing every day, even if it's a page, even if it's a sentence, posting a video. Like, if God's speaking to you, if God has touched you, make a video. Someone's gonna be touched by it. But it matters. So I've been out, and this is my situation. And yesterday I called one of my leads, and he said, you should come in tomorrow, which is today. He said this yesterday. I'm like, all right. Like, I didn't think of that. The other leads I contacted like 3 or 4 other guys about it, because I was having trouble with the communications with my leads. But anyways, he said, you should come in, you should show them, so they're not going to wonder why you weren't there so much, so they can get it in the records. And I said, I have documentation too. He's like, yeah, that'd be great, bring that. So I show up today on my crutches, talk to the guys, talk to the safety guys, talk to the medic, and they got my paper, and they said, well, you can't come back until you have your boot off and you can fully walk. And I'm just believing that I won't have to go back at all. You know, God will provide for those who are called according to his purpose. That's not the scripture that I read, but God will provide for those who lean on him. God will provide no matter what for you. The provision is from God no matter what, even if it's from there, even if it's from here. But God will provide, and he will have you where he needs you to be. So I might not even need to go back. That's the mindset I have. Because God can take something and multiply it. Especially if you're doing work for him and you come at it with faith, with fullest faith. But I went there and you know, I'm really in a place where I need a financial blessing. I've been praying about that. My fiance's been praying about that too, because no work for what? However long I'm out. However long it can be until not even off crutches, but out of this boot and into steel toe boots. Like, I need to be completely off my boot. And last time I was injured, that took a long time. That took about a month. So I went there today, and we were talking, and everything went along very smoothly, just normal conversation. And then we got to the point where I asked, what about unemployment? Can you collect unemployment if you're injured? And they're like, I don't know about that. And then the safety guy said, well, through your union, you might be able to collect a temporary disability. Which, I mean, I'll take what I can get given my circumstances. And considering I'm part of a union, if that's a benefit, that's beautiful. And I didn't even know that was a thing either. So God had played the cards right, because the lead that I called that said I should go there, he was in Texas the whole week before that. And he got back that day and said, I need to go here. And that led me to ask the question. And he said, what about this? And then I contacted my union, call up my union, and they sent me the paperwork that says the paperwork for short-term disability. And that's just a blessing. That's another blessing in disguise that God gave me, because I didn't know about it. And I had direct orders from God through other people. And the closer you get to God, the more you pray, the more you walk in the Spirit, the more you realize these little tiny things that you don't think seem to matter in the wide battlefield, the spiritual battlefield out here, the world. They matter. Little things matter. So it's a beautiful day, and I thought I'd come on here and share this with you guys. Stay encouraged. No matter what happens, stay up and know that God has you. Know that God has a purpose. Even if you're out of work, even if you don't know where the next check's going to come from, even if you don't feel like you're where you want to be at, God has a timing, and God's timing is perfect. That's it. Don't forget to like the video. I love comments. Comments are beautiful. Comment down below. Subscribe. Share to your friends. And until next time, I'll see you guys.